I teased out, the auto industry leader who's with us, and he's very much in the studios with us. Anish Shah is MD CEO, Mahindra & Mahindra. Anish, great to have you with us here. Thank you very much.
Pleasure being here as always.
You made the trek. It's a short trek, but you made it. So grateful.
Lots of rain today. It's always good.
What's been the feedback? And today is the day the Navratri festive period starts. GST cuts are effective. You're one of the leaders in the auto space, Anish, especially in the premium SUV segments, etc. So, and you announced the cut earlier, right? I mean, you passed it on. You didn't wait for this Monday. So overall, how's it adding up? How's it shaping up? Numbers would be great, or a feel would be great.
So the feel is very positive, obviously. And yes, you're right, we did pass the cuts on starting September 6th itself.
Indeed.
We saw this as a major positive from the government. And I'm going to focus more on the macro aspect, because to me, that is the most important part of this. Yes, we will see greater demand through the festival period. We will see greater demand going forward as well, just because of the price elasticity curve. But from a macro standpoint, the part that is most interesting from our standpoint is that this is a major change in sentiment as well. And one of the steps that we see that will take India to an 8 to 10% GDP growth annually for the next 20 years is what we believe.
Wow.
And there are a number of steps that have been taken before. These are all building blocks. And this is one of those building blocks, but an important one. And our investments are focus today is based on what we see of India's growth and the path towards what has been outlined as a very ambitious target of Viksit Bharat. But that's one that I do feel is highly achievable. And this is, in a sense, a proof point that takes us towards that.
So GST cut is the third of the measures, right? You had the income tax cut. I mean, the Reserve Bank has been on a...
That's right.
Hopefully, there's more easing coming. And of course, now you've got GST cuts. So you're saying this is... the finance minister alluded to this as well, that we've done enough, and now the private sector should kind of start to... I mean, there should be no constraints, I think that was the phrase that was used, to kind of go out, invest. And you have been in that sense.
Yes, and we have quadruple capacity, so yeah, we are playing our part on that front.
Growth solves most problems, right? In that sense, Anish. And you think this sets the stage for a durable recovery in growth on the consumption side, and of course, in turn, creating more capacity, creating the need for more capacities as well.
This clearly sets the stage because it is a significant step forward. It's not just about the reduction in rates; it's also about simplification.
Yes,
and that's one thing that's going to help tremendously.
So, Anish, hi, welcome to the show. Good to see you in the studio. Just narrowing in, however, on a little bit on the near term, because you said that you passed on the rate cuts on the 6th of September. It's the 22nd of September. What has demand been like in these couple of days?
So it's a Shraddh period, so typically demand is lower in the Shraddh period in any case. And overall, it's been positive.
So if you had to compare it on a like-to-like basis?
I'd say definitely positive, but also remember that our vehicles have been selling like hotcakes for a long time. Right? So at the start of this year, we had promised mid to high teens growth in SUVs. Last year, we grew 20% in SUVs. So we have been growing really well.
Do you think you can exceed your guidance because of this?
We feel we can. But new guidance will have to wait till our next analyst meeting, by which time we will get a better sense of where things are going. But it is clearly positive. A price reduction will enhance demand, and from that standpoint, it is positive.
Well, good to have you in the studio, Mr. Shah. And everyone's quite optimistic that we are bracing for practically one of the best 30 to 45 days, because all the factors are aligned together, right? The end of Shraddh period, 1 month ahead of Diwali. You have the GST rationalization, income tax cuts. What more do you want? Perfect time. Do you think we are bracing for the best 30 days possibly in the history?
As I look at it, and I tell our businesses, every period should be the best ever, because that's the path we're going on. So
this is going to be better than the previous best.
So it has to be better than the previous best, and next year has to be better than this one. So we had some of our businesses talking about best ever quarter. So I said, we should not say that because every quarter has to be the best ever quarter.
Okay, and what about, y'all already, cut prices immediately and pushed it on to the customer. So they were lucky from September 6th, as you said. So you don't have any problem with regard to the inventory or any kind of hiccups on that front?
No hiccups on that front. I think that's all planned. Yes, some effort that went into it, but we are in good shape at this point.
Let's talk about it segment-wise then. On tractors itself, there has been some rationalization with regard to GST. But as this, tractor demand was reasonably strong. Every time we speak, you talk about how you're gaining market share, you're growing better than the industry. And the feedback was that on ground as well, demand was pretty okay. So how does this change things then?
This will, again, further enhance demand because you've got a reduction in price. But that's also the reason why, Nigel, I look for this as more a long-term play rather than a short-term play.
Indeed.
It's much more than what will happen in the next 45 days or the next quarter or the next year. This is something that, in a sense, is a fundamental reset. And that allows for customers to get goods at a cheaper price. It allows for a simplification in the entire process, which is very important for all companies. And that's going to stand India in very good stead. Yes, I can't take away the short-term gains. There will be benefits that accrue to everyone in the short term. But that, in some ways, I think the long term is more important than the short term.
You made a very, very good point, Mr. Shah, because before Prashant takes away, the need of the hour was to push forth some kind of consumption boost, and that's been done. There were some rough edges as well on the GST front, which are gradually getting ironed out. And I think the path ahead is clearly pointing to much better times.
Absolutely. Anish, so again, I'm not, setting you up for giving us numbers. But 1st of October we should expect when you post numbers for the month of September, it should be a...
again, I'm not getting into numbers month over month because there are multiple factors that come in. Short days this year are different from those days last year and so on. So there are multiple factors that come in. But as I would look at it overall, it is a positive trend.
Okay. Which of your businesses, and the auto business is one, right? But you're exposed to other segments in the economy as well. And you said you see this as a bigger, broader macro kind of a positive. Where will this show up in your businesses within the group?
I would say across multiple businesses because we would expect the farm business, as Nigel mentioned as well, to benefit from a tractor, farm equipment, and overall, as you have more money in pockets of consumers as a result of the savings they have from lower GST, that will go across multiple other categories. So as we think about our holidays business and across the board, we would expect a lot more consumption. Our two-wheelers business will benefit a lot from it, Classic Legends, and that's one has also seen some benefit.
On the lending side, there's a fair bit of exposure to autos as well. I mean, I think there also perhaps is a bit of a pickup.
That's correct. That's correct. That will benefit the lending business as well. So as you look at the economy, and we represent the economy largely, we should see benefits across all sectors.
Just wanted to actually narrow down on that compensation cess issue. Any clarity on that?
There isn't clarity on that as yet, but that's something we will deal with as we go on. These are some of the things that will happen in the short term and not something that really worries us from that perspective.
Okay. All right. You did mention, obviously where we are going in terms of growth. What does that do in terms of launches for M&M? Are you preponing launches? Are you probably getting a little more aggressive in terms of launches? Where are we going to see those categories come through and what do we expect?
So we have gotten very aggressive, not just in the recent past, but over the last few years in terms of launches that we've done. We've talked about our Vision platform recently, and that's one that is a platform that's fungible across multiple powertrains. We've revealed 4 different vehicles that we will launch with that. In addition, there will be more on the electric side. There will be other vehicles on the ICE side. So we have a very strong portfolio for launch over the next 3 to 5 years.
Anish, over the weekend, I don't think we can ignore the news flow, right? Maybe as someone put it, I was talking to James Sullivan of JP Morgan at the conference. He said, we have to wait and see if this is the first salvo which hits services, in that sense, the entire visa bit. How do you think about this, Anish? And is there still negotiation? And the Commerce Minister is in the US, for example. Just your thoughts on how this pans out.
So if we look back about 5 or 6 years ago, there was a focus on H-1B and talk about curtailing H-1B. At that time, Tech Mahindra, our IT services firm, had actually pivoted to hiring a lot more local workers in the US with citizenship or green cards. And today, the vast majority of our workers in the US are citizens or green card holders. This is something that impacts all companies in the US because many of them are hiring folks with H-1B. It impacts all the tech companies in some ways even more. So this is not something that's related only to the Indian tech companies. It's a much, much bigger impact in that sense.
Actually, someone said it impacts Indians, but it impacts American companies more in that sense. Because
it impacts American companies a lot more. But let me give you a different perspective on this. Think about this from the Indian economy standpoint. The work has to be done somewhere. If the work is done in India and offshored, and now we have capabilities to do all of that, you're going to have more people stay in India, spend in India, and add to the Indian economy.
That's the hope, right? Absolutely, that's the hope, and hope we're able to provide that ecosystem here in India for that to happen. But global
that we can provide today.
Yeah.
Right? We have the capabilities to do that, and there are many of our peer companies as well that have the capability to do that.
Global capability centers is something somebody was telling me. I mean, we are opening 2 new global capability centers every week in India. I mean, the larger ones are here, the smaller ones is what I'm talking about, but 2 every week, and maybe the trend accelerates because of all of this.
That's good, because the work has to be done somewhere, and we have the capability to do that work very well.
You briefly mentioned Classic Legends. Obviously, that's very, very small. But, and I went in the last 10 days and tested the BSA 650.
And what do you think of it?
I thought it was beautiful,
Yes.
and I've been a loyalist to the other brand that sells the 650 odd. But there were very good offers out there, because the rate effective today goes up by 30 to 40,000 rupees, depending on which bike, the BSA 650 or even the ST 350. Did you all see a lot of pre-buying ahead of this hike on that 650 category, 350 category?
I'm not aware of the specific numbers there, so I can't comment on that. But what I can tell you is that the products that we've had have been outstanding. We've won a number of product awards, as well as the demand we're seeing for those products now is very good. So we've got a business today that is ready to compete and do very well against some established players in that market.
Just quickly, Anish, we've been talking about the domestic market. What about the international side of the business? You all are looking to enter the UK. What are the plans there? What is the timeline that we're expecting?
So we are first focusing on markets that are ones where we've had a presence for auto in particular, which is South Africa, Australia, Chile, and the markets around India. We will then look at the UK on the back of the trade agreement. So the FTA kicks in about 2 years from now, so our planning process will start in some time. We have very good products that are competing with the best in the world today, and that is what will take us forward. With some of our ICE products, we're doing very well today in South Africa and Australia, and have gotten meaningful market share gains in those markets as well. So our approach is consistent with everything we've done, which is pick certain areas, do very well in those areas, and then move on to the next space. In farm, it's a different set of countries, because that's about Brazil, about Turkey, the US, where we've got a strong presence from a farm business standpoint. And those are the largest markets for tractors worldwide. And we continue to see good gains in market share and are well positioned in many of those markets.
Well, Mr. Shah, final question from my end before I let you go. In the government, the last few measures that they've taken, clearly they've done a bit of a pivot. The last few years were more focused on capex. Now there's a lot of focus on consumption. And you have said you all are doing your bit with regard to capex spend as well. But do you think for an industry on the whole that capex spend, a little bit of a pullback could be a bit of a hurdle, and private capex now needs to come about and do the heavy lifting from here on, because the government has done its bit on the capex spends?
See, private capex is really a function of consumption. So as consumption increases,
they will have to.
Not just have to, we would want to, because that's what you need to be able to deliver the products to be able to grow. And the reason we've quadrupled our capacity in auto is because of the demand we saw. And as we continue to see demand, we'll continue to look at putting in more capacity. So it's really a function of consumption. So I think it plays very well in the current economic scenario.
We've got to get the cycle rolling, and then it becomes a positive, virtuous cycle. Anish, thank you very much for dropping by. It's always great speaking with you. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Well, that is Anish Shah at Mahindra & Mahindra running us through, of course, what his group is going to see in terms of benefits across businesses, across a range of businesses. But of course, the larger point being that this is a macro positive, and it should enable, provide at least the visibility of more durable, longer run growth for India itself. So, higher growth, I think that's essentially what everyone is wanting here in markets and otherwise as well.